this was not strong enough to hold the full tongue weight of the trailer. However, here's my philosophy. So it sagged and it bent a little bit. But so what? It's still way stronger than a tow cable and way more stable. It was working fine when I was using my jack roller wheel when I had it, other than I was chewing up the jack wheel, which I don't want to do. So my thinking was, if you've ever watched the video where people have a flat or a wheel that comes off the rear of a car or truck or wagon, and all they do is shove a chunk of tree in, wedge it in, and carry on down the road, wearing out the hunk of wood, that's what that's going to be. So this time I'm just going to let it sag and bend down. That's going to be the hunk of wood that, yeah, the trailer will sag, who cares? And I'll only need it, I think, for maybe pulling the boat out of a hole. So I tapered everything so it doesn't catch on much. The tongue weight will actually be on that skid pad. But basically that can wear away to nothing. So these are just to get it more under the tongue, because this is where it bent. But I'm assuming, as I often do, and it could be a problem, and that's enough skid plate that for once in a while driving it in and out of a ramp, it's not going to wear quickly and fall apart in one day. Okay, I thought that having it just right there over the tongue, I had my reasons for putting it a little bit forward, thinking that it fits better underneath for storage. So that's sacrificial. I can replace it anytime I want. So then that makes this tow bar useful, in my humble opinion. And I don't have the weight to carry around. So that's the next thing why I like it. So just, embrace the fact that it's going to drag on the ground a bit. So it worked beautifully. So I already went down the road. Maybe you can just see the wood path there. I went all the way down to the end, not to the end, but midway to where the turn is, and turned around and came back. So it might have caught the odd piece of something. And then I drove it into the driveway, and you can see the skid mark, and came back out. And again, the skid mark, but no, it isn't chewing up. I lost some wood, obviously. I think more from the gravel run than the road run. So I'll show you it working. So I'm able to back this up. It pushes it and it pulls it. And there we have what I need to get up on the ramp. And it puts the tongue weight actually on this pad rather than on the rear tires. So the front wheel drive should have a little more grip. Yes, that's kind of bendy, but the point is it's bendy. So there isn't as much pressure on the tongue as there is on that tongue if it were on that trailer hitch. The weight of the front of the boat is down on the wood block. So I'm thrilled. It worked beautifully. So what you're looking at is actually not a bad thing. Looks horrible, I get that, but it works really well. So essentially this is to help me pull the boat out of a ramp. And as much as it bends this way, if a ramp drops off, it will bend the other way too. It will flex based on my needs. And I have everything chained together. So if fatigue wears out that piece of metal down the road and it comes apart, ideally we're all chained up so we can not lose the whole boat into the water, which would float anyway. So it's, that's not tragic, the trailer in the water. This saves a lot of weight and serves my purpose. And I had a comment, what kind of engineer are you? Because the last picture was about the failure of this. Well, that's exactly the kind of engineer I am. I am not an engineer. Yay. I'm not even as smart as the Canada geese, but you know how the Canada geese fly in a nice V? Well, they figured out many years ago, before there was aviation, formulas and stuff like that, that, hey, it's a little easier if we do it this way. And they maybe were starting and did it the hard way, but they figured it out it's easier if they just fly in the V and catch the little vortex, and then the guys at the tips can glide a little bit better. But that's kind of how I roll. I think, this will work. Well, guess what? It doesn't. And then what do I need to change to make it work? And that's, it's kind of evolution for me. And that's how these designs come about too. So as much as I am not an engineer, and yes, I deserve criticism, and don't do what I do necessarily. If you think use your judgment. If you think it's dangerous, don't do it. But on the other hand, I've had good results over the years, and I try to remember the lessons, and therefore, stuff like this can work. Haha. So I'll rehook up the regular way, but you can see it's when I get into the gravel that it starts grinding. But the pavement, it skips along quite nicely. And if you look, not much has worn off that bottom corner, but the evidence says otherwise. But still, point is it will last several launches. Flip it and it will last several more launches. So if I get 10 launches is my season usually, sort of, kind of, but bottom line is that'll work. I say success. So now all I got to do is pull this, and I have to arrange that, your wires are not dragging. I could do a better job with my harness for my lights, so they're not dragging, so that the handle doesn't catch and drag. So this is the first attempt. So, I might put a bungee up to the top of the clamp or up to the top there, and then that would solve that. Bring the handle right up and wrap the wire. But looks awkward, looks terrible. Oh, the dangling thing's what I've used to tie the hitch extension on. So maybe doesn't look great, but I think you saw it worked great. For a ramp, this is awesome. This is a big development for me. Keeps the van way the heck away from the boat. So that extra bit will put my front tires on good solid ground. So, where I don't think I need it, I can always attempt to pull it out without it. And if I run into problems, put the boat back, tie it back to the dock, pull just the trailer out, hook this up, and then go get the boat. So I don't even necessarily need it. I'm just planning for when I have trouble. That I've got some backup plan to get me out when I'm by myself somewhere, and I can't expect other people to tow my boat out for me, right? Like to be a little bit independent if I can. So yeah. Oh, and I also I should show you another thing I made. I made a hand crane to lift this motor because my shoulders are shot and I'm not as strong as I once was, to make it a little bit easier to lift. And anyways, it worked to get it out of the barrel. I ended up getting it close enough that I could then lift the motor up. So yeah, I got the 9.9 on. Bottom line is motor's on, it's running, yay. I'm going to check the bottom oil, and I have a fin to put on here. It'll be part of a boarding system that I'll set up. I'm thinking I might put like a plate, a step down at the lower part there, and it'll also act like a trim plate. And that way you can hook your toe on it and step on the fin, which is about yay wide to here, and step on that, and step up. But actually, even just stepping on the fin, yeah, you can grab the edge there, step on the fin, and you're pretty much up there, because I climb in with this step. So you're just a hair off. D would have a problem, but I'd be there to help load her on, so that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, so anyway, I'm really thrilled with all the progress. I get it, looks ugly. I get it, looks lame. But if it works, function is beauty, right? In theory, form versus function, I don't know, that kind of thing.